Alrighty, so I just got back with it from a job, and I just thought I'd take the opportunity to run through, just going through some traps and cleaning them up. There's a few here that sort of need a bit of work, and you know, a couple that are court dogs and stuff that have been chewed up, like this one. Just with the change the rubbers out on it, tidy things like that up. Another one here that's obviously had a dog in it, so I'll just change the rubbers in. So I just thought I'd take the opportunity just to show you how I do that, and obviously do any repair work. And there's actually a couple of new ones here that I'm going to fit out, just check out and put some new chains and stuff on them. So this one here, obviously he'd lost his double stake ring, so replace that and put a crunch proof swivel on it, just things like that. So I just thought I'd take the opportunity anyway while I was doing it, just to show you. Try not to get me in it. Look what I'm wearing.
Okay.
Got my safety stuff on.
Yeah, good.
So when I'm washing them, I just make sure that we've got to try and clean out in there those bits and pieces. Dirt and shit and, you know, blood and all that gets up into those springs, so just got to make sure that that's nice and clean. So, and obviously all the jaws and stuff. So what I do is I actually also inside this spring is tend to get a lot of bits and pieces caught up in that too, so just make sure that. And then here's a little hot tip for you. I actually open up my traps, because a lot of the time, as you can see, there's dirt on all the rubbers. And when you've caught a dog, there's also hair on there. So I always open them up and then I boil them. I'll just clean these quickly. Lucky with this ground, it's been pretty dry. This is not much mud. Sometimes there gets mud all up under the pan and all through the traps. So what I do then is I actually, to boil my traps up, I put my chain through the jaws. Even like that, that's okay. And what it does is it leaves the trap open, so when you boil it, the water goes all through and actually cleans out the jaws at the same time. When you put a trap in the ground, when it's opened up, those edges in there, inside there, are the ones that are the closest to the ground. So this makes sense to me to actually have them opened up when you're boiling. So then all that scent that might be on those rubbers or on the inside of those jaws gets boiled out. That's the reason why I keep them left open like that. Obviously the offset ones you don't have to do, but yeah, the rest of them I just keep them open. Also wash all my pegs, they all get a wash as well, and then I'll dip that top end probably halfway into the water when I'm boiling, which once again just hides any of that scent that might be on them. So there we go, got all my pegs washed out, all my traps washed and opened up, ready to boil. And these ones here all just need a bit of work done on them. So one good thing with these dogless traps is and these offsets, is obviously the rubbers are non-existent, so they just offset, which is really good. Saves you having to change rubbers. Also, you don't have to worry about replacing the dogs because of things chewing up the dogs. Just less maintenance when it comes down to it, because let's face it, it's not the best part of the job, that's for sure. So I bought this old trap just a bundle of traps, and I just brought it out to have a look at it. It looks pretty good. It's got all your gear on it, so it just comes up, but then it hasn't got a base plate. So obviously I've just undone that to take it off, but they just come with these little shitty D-rings on basically a little thin bit of plate there. So what we do to sort of strengthen that up a little bit, got these base plates. Sorry about the light here, and half in the bloody shade. So what that does is you obviously weld them both ends. You get the D ring. Obviously you cut that one off there. Let me get my D ring, slide that on, and then weld that both sides. And as you can see, that actually strengthens that up quite a bit, puts a better base on your trap. Most of them these days come with that setup, with the stronger base plate. Alright, so we'll weld this. Obviously when you're welding, make sure you put on all your safety equipment. So you can see now that base plate, it's a bit hot. Now we can hook our crunch proof swivel onto that, and that trap now is nice and solid. So it's actually, you know, added a bit of extra strength to the trap as well, which is a bonus. And we'll keep modifying this trap. Give you a look at it. What else do I need to do? Tap those. I just bend those little arms just up just a touch, and that just holds those springs on a little bit better where they're meant to go. And it also, when you're putting a trap in the ground, those two little feet act as a bit more of a base for you as well. I'm going to replace that dog. That dog's a bit. There you go. Yeah. Time being, I'll just do some panel beating on that dog. Flathead screwdriver, and stick it in there. Stick it in there, and open them up. This as well. Comes off. She's all bent up. So we'll just straighten them out a bit. They do have a bit of a, when you get them flat, you've got to have a little bit of a curve on them, and that determines your pan tension. So I'll show you that in a sec. That's pretty much straight now. You can see that. Now, you put it on the trap, and then I just got to put it on the trap, and then just got to put a little bend on it to determine the fan tension. So the other thing I do is here, Shelley. See, when a trap works, it's designed to, shit, that's still hot. That, when it fires, that runs up those edges. This lever runs up these edges. So what I do is I just give them a file off as well. And that just takes that sharp edge off them, and it just gets those traps, those levers, a smoother action, which obviously means a bit quicker action. You can see there now, a bit smoother rather than just a sharp corner on them. Probably be a lot easier with a bigger file, but this is the one that I grabbed. Yep, beautiful. Now that basically is nearly ready to go. The other thing I'll do is just set this pan tension, and as I said, what we do is we just bend this little dog a little bit to adjust that. These are what they call a pawsey trip pan. I'm not a big fan of them, but as I said, until I get some dogless dogs to put on these traps, this will work. The other thing I've done is just bent those feet down for a couple of reasons. One, as I said, when it's sitting in the ground, they act as a bit of a stable base for it, and also what it does is it holds those springs onto there, because a lot of the time what happens is those springs will actually come off the ends of these little feet. So by bending them down a bit, it just holds the spring into place a lot better. I'm going to attach the chain to it now. So that's just a matter of hooking the old punch proof swivel through the D shackle there, tightening that. There is tools for these as well, but pliers will work. So that's nice and close. That's on there. So you can see there, just tacked. It's tacked that side, and tacked on that side as well. And still move around. Also tacked that end of it, and that little crunch proof swivel J hook there done. I might as well, while I'm on the job, I'll just tack this one up, these two up, and this one as well. See, she's all tacked. It's tacked. It's tacked. It's tacked. Ready to rock and roll. Now, changing the rubbers out. Now, I buy my rubber for my traps in big lengths like this. So these are a Drake rubber, and they also fit on the bridges. So I'll change this. This is a WTS number 5, which is the same as a bridge number 5 dogless, and obviously a Jake trap. So I'll go through and change these rubbers out, and I'll show you how I do it. Basically, I just obviously undo all these screws. You undo everyone does it a different way. I do it a different way for every different trap too. So obviously with these bridger style traps, you can actually just unhook your levers, which is that one there and that one there, on both sides. And what that does is it leaves the jaws free. So then you're able to work on them. With this one, a Jake, obviously it's a little bit different because you can't just unhook the levers. So what I do with that one is I actually stand on the levers, undo those, which are obviously a bit of a pain because they're Allen key and a lock nut, but I undo all those, take them plates off, undo all those, take them off, then I'll stand on the jaw, take the rubbers off, put new rubbers on, and do them back up. Obviously you have to drill the holes through, things like that. This one I'll go through and undo all these, take those plates off. They don't have a plate on the bottom, so just obviously unhook those levers, open it up, and you can work on it. Anyway, I'll run through it and we show you, look how I do it. There's obviously a few different ways to undo these levers. Any way you do it, you just got to be pretty careful because it's obviously a lot of pressure on those levers. But you can sometimes get some sort of screwdriver in there. You can lever them off to the side. Like that. Obviously right around this one. same thing. Get some sort of screwdriver in there, grab that edge, and that's off. So that jaw is now loose. Once again, if you've got a better way of doing it, please leave them in the comments below. So now, that's fairly loose. So you can work on those jaws as much as you want safely. Alright, so once all those screws are out, you can just get a flathead screwdriver, take those off. I just keep them in order to an extent, which way they sit on there. So as you can see, I just lay them out so they're in the same sort of spot. Now these rubbers obviously just chewed off completely. They're meant to be more like that. Open them up. Take it out. That's what it looks like. So then, what I do is I grab me new rubber. And literally just got to cut one out, same size. So, or two out, same size. So you can see those little bits. It actually goes like that. So you want two at that length. Cut them out and put. You just work out the way they're meant to sit. Obviously, they sit like that. Plate sits on top. So you get them into place, close that up so they're roughly in the right spot. Close them up. Then the plates run on their place, like so. And you just got to line the holes up and put your bolts back through. It's pretty straightforward. Your bolts back through.